Saved from Wrong Counselors. For a long time, I walked a different path, one that felt exciting and liberating at first, but ultimately led to a barren landscape. I used to seek out the counsel of those who scoffed at traditional values, who dismissed morality as outdated, and who championed a life lived solely for immediate gratification. Their words were slick, persuasive, and resonated with a part of me that wanted to break free from what I perceived as restrictive norms. I found myself not just listening to them, but standing alongside them, even sitting with them. Absorbing their cynical laughter and their dismissive attitudes towards anything that hinted at a higher purpose or a divine will. Their advice, though seemingly clever, was always rooted in self-interest, often at the expense of others, or at least, at the expense of my own integrity. They encouraged shortcuts, told me to prioritize fleeting pleasures, and convinced me that genuine goodness was for the naive. Slowly, subtly, their wisdom began to erode my conscience. I started to feel a hollowness grow inside me, a quiet dissatisfaction that no amount of superficial success or fleeting excitement could fill. My spirit felt restless, constantly chasing something just out of reach, like dry leaves blown by the wind, with no root or foundation. One day, amidst this internal turmoil, I stumbled upon Psalm 1. I don't remember how, perhaps it was a random opening in a forgotten Bible, or a verse quoted by someone I barely knew. But the words struck me with an unexpected force. Blessed is the one who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, or stand in the way of sinners, or sit in the seat of mockers. It was a stark mirror. It described exactly where I had been. The counsel of the wicked, the way of sinners, the seat of mockers, it was my reality. The verse didn't condemn, it simply presented a contrasting path. And then, it offered the alternative: but whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and who meditates on his law day and night. The idea of delight in something as seemingly rigid as law felt alien, yet immensely appealing in its promise of stability. The image that followed captivated me. That person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever they do prospers. A tree planted by water, not tossed about like chaff. This was the antithesis of the restless, aimless existence I was living. From that moment, a slow but profound shift began. I consciously started to withdraw from the circles whose counsel had led me astray. It wasn't easy. There was a sense of loss, a fear of being alone. But the growing emptiness inside me was a stronger motivator. I began to seek out quiet moments, not to fill them with distractions, but to turn my attention to the law of the Lord. Initially, just the Psalms themselves, then other scriptures. I found myself meditating on these words, not just reading them, but pondering their meaning, allowing them to seep into my heart and mind. Slowly, the cynical voices that had once dominated my thoughts began to fade. They were replaced by a quiet confidence, a sense of being rooted. It wasn't an overnight transformation, but a gradual process, like a tree sending its roots deeper into the soil. The fruit started to appear in unexpected ways. A renewed sense of purpose, a genuine joy that wasn't dependent on external circumstances, and a growing ability to discern right from wrong with clarity. My anxieties lessened, and a profound peace settled over me. I realized that true liberation wasn't in shedding all boundaries, but in aligning myself with principles that lead to flourishing. I am no longer swayed by every passing trend or the shallow advice of those who wander aimlessly. Now, I strive to be like that tree, firmly planted, drawing sustenance from an unfailing source, and trusting that in due season, I will bear fruit, and whatever I do, by God's grace, will prosper. The counsel of the wicked holds no appeal for me now. I have found a better way, a blessed way.